$250. That's all it takes now just to visit the United States, if you're from a country without a visa waiver. Sounds small, right? But it's already turning into a massive disaster. Since July, this new visa fee has been quietly wrecking America's $1.9 trillion tourism economy. And the damage isn't just on paper, it's hitting the streets. Hotels in Miami are half full. Vegas casinos are cutting shows. Tucson resorts are slashing prices, and even New York's tour buses are rolling half empty. Restaurants can't find enough customers or staff. Airbnb hosts are quitting. Theme parks are closing early. And here's the thing. This isn't just a slow summer. It's a warning sign. When millions of tourists around the world decide, no thanks, not worth it, what happens to the cities that depend on them? Because if the biggest names in American tourism are already struggling, then the question is, who's next to fall off the map? Let's zoom in on Tucson. Once a rising star in desert tourism, this Arizona city is now eerily quiet. The tour buses have thinned out. Gift shops sit untouched. Hotel lobbies echo. It all unraveled fast. Ever since the new $250 visa fee kicked in under the Big Beautiful Bill on July 4, 2025, international arrivals have nosedived. Visit Tucson reported a 32% drop in foreign travelers, a figure that sent panic through the local hospitality industry. But that's not the worst of it. Nearly 40% of tourism businesses in the city have either laid off staff or shut down temporarily. Not because demand shifted, but because demand disappeared. No tour groups, no student delegations, no conventions from abroad. Just a long stretch of empty hotel blocks and closed until further notice signs. In 2024, Tucson was building momentum. Airports were expanding. Now, that runway just got pulled from under them. This isn't a temporary dip. It's a blunt economic reality. When tourists are priced out, cities like Tucson pay the price. And the question is, how many more cities will follow? Picking up the thread from our last case study, Spokane is the next casualty. In Washington state, international student programs collapsed this summer. J1 visitor numbers plunged. The city's summer hostess ranks emptied out fast. Inside Higher Ed reports that in May 2025, the U.S. issued 7,000 fewer J1 visas compared to May 2024. That's a 13% drop in exchange visitors. That hit Spokane hard. Resort operators in the area watched in alarm. Over 60% of hotels and resorts struggled to staff housekeepers, kitchen staff, and front desk workers. Managers resorted to cleaning rooms and serving guests personally. Summer festival bookings vanished. Airbnb cancellations spiked. Local hospitality revenue shrank overnight. What looked like a simple policy tweak ended up gutting the very workforce that keeps hotels open, beaches clean, and attractions running at full speed. Spokane isn't isolated. It's a cautionary tale of how visa policy becomes a chokehold on city income and seasonal lifelines. The resort lanes may be silent now, but the fallout echoes across the state. Picking up from Spokane's crisis, now we turn to New Orleans, a city built on tourism, also in freefall. In mid-April 2025, New Orleans & Company confirmed interest from Canadian visitors dropped sharply amid backlash to the U.S. visa fee and trade rhetoric. One festival shows the heart of the damage. The revered French Quarter Festival saw revenues slump by 42%, while overall international attendance fell around 35%, forcing hundreds of street performers and driver jobs to evaporate into thin air. Local operators say nearly half of planned acts canceled or didn't show up. Hotel occupancy slumped. Hotel restaurants dimmed early. Bus tours that once roamed Bourbon Street paused completely. The policy shift sent immediate ripples through the travel industry, discouraging international visitors and casting uncertainty over Canada's role as a short-term destination. Festival planners scrambled to salvage tourist engagement. City leaders invited Canadian media to push back on perception issues. but the damage was already imprinted. New Orleans lost millions in local economic activity tied to food, music, lodging. The city that thrives on being lively overnight turned muted by month's end. This is more than a dip. It's a collapse of expectation, and when New Orleans loses its festive glow, you know something systemic is wrong. New Orleans warned us. The statistics now confirm what the silence was hiding. Kansas City, Missouri, one of the U.S. host cities for the 2026 World Cup, is bracing for a massive shortfall. Local officials and tourism boards project a $220 million loss in international visitor revenue, directly tied to the newly implemented visa fee. According to preliminary data from travel operators and inbound tour agencies, group tours from South America and Africa have dropped by 47%. These were key demographics expected to flood the city during World Cup festivities. Instead of encouraging order, the new rule ended up closing the door entirely. Families from Argentina, Ghana, and Nigeria canceled travel plans. Travel agents in São Paulo and Accra confirmed mass tour withdrawals, citing visa cost hikes as the tipping point. Kansas City had prepared for record-breaking footfall. Hotels upgraded. Transit systems extended hours. Merchants stocked up. But now, stadium seats may sit half full. Not from lack of interest, but from entry barriers. For a city that invested heavily in World Cup infrastructure and global outreach, this isn't just an economic hit. It's a reputational one. The road to 2026 was supposed to be a celebration. Now, it's damage control. Following Kansas, New York City is facing a quieter but far more dangerous decline. In May 2025, the World Travel and Tourism Council projected a $12.5 billion loss in U.S. international tourism spending this year, and no city stands to lose more than New York. Locally, NYC Tourism Plus Conventions warned that 2 million fewer international visitors are expected in 2025. That translates into a staggering $4 billion drop in visitor spending, hitting everything from hotels to museums to sidewalk performers. But here's the kicker. As tourist revenue dried up, the city cut its international marketing budget. Less visibility meant fewer bookings. And fewer bookings led to more cuts. A self-inflicted spiral of decline. From Fifth Avenue to Flushing, guides, cabbies, and small businesses are reporting ghost hours. Broadway box offices sit half-sold. Luxury brands, once fueled by foreign shoppers, now report year-over-year slumps. This isn't just a slowdown, it's a reputational slip. And for a city that thrives on global attention, silence is a red flag. Continuing our tour of cities in freefall, we arrive at Orlando, a tourism giant now grappling with a staffing disaster. The sharp drop in J-1 visas this year quietly drained Florida's seasonal workforce, leaving many hospitality businesses scrambling to fill roles that once relied on international student labor. That drop translated into desperate staffing shortages across theme parks. Resorts and dinner shows found themselves short half their usual student workforce. Without J-1 participants, many entertainment shows were canceled outright. Guests faced hours-long waits. Lines backed up fountains and sidewalks. Staff scurried to cover kitchen and housekeeping duties. Operators say it felt like watching a live juggernaut run out of fuel. Summer crowds arrived, but the rides stayed idle. Dinner theaters locked doors early. Hotels scrambled to rearrange shifts. Frustrated visitors left reviews. Word spread that Orlando wasn't delivering. This collapse ties back to restrictive visa policies and sudden cost increases that priced out student workers. With fewer hands welcoming guests, the city lost its magic touch. Orlando isn't just missing workers, it's losing its reputation and its revenue. Following Orlando's staffing chaos, Chicago faces a quieter collapse, one built on cancellations. By early May 2025, the shift was impossible to ignore. Hotel lobbies that once buzzed with foreign accents turned unusually quiet. managers began adjusting schedules. Some cut staff hours. Others closed early on days that used to be fully booked. The city's iconic architectural tours, usually packed in spring, are running at half capacity. Boat operators dock vessels early. Docents say entire group bookings vanished without notice. But the hit runs deeper than hotels and boats. Cultural exchanges and international education programs have been shelved. Nonprofits canceled music residencies and language immersion weeks after sponsors pulled out. Tour guides now rotate shifts just to stay employed. Last year, Chicago was riding high with over 55 million visitors. Now, streets once buzzing with foreign languages feel oddly muted. Tourism chiefs admit the cycle is turning on itself. Less foot traffic means fewer bookings. Fewer bookings means less budget to promote. And without visibility abroad, Chicago risks vanishing from travel plans altogether. This isn't a marketing hiccup. It's a breakdown in global trust. Linking from Chicago's drop in architecture tours, we land in Miami, a global magnet now losing traction fast. In early May 2025, tourist searches for Miami dropped 15% year-over-year, according to Google Travel Trend data, making it one of the most skipped destinations worldwide. Meanwhile, local industry reports confirm service revenues, restaurants, hotels, entertainment, have shrunk by an estimated 20 to 35% since last season. Resorts are cutting international staff. Servers, concierges, and bellhops are being reassigned or let go. No-show rates rose sharply as bookings evaporated. Despite hosting over 6.44 million international visitors in 2024, generating roughly $7 billion in spending, Miami now feels hollow during what should be its peak season. Empty hotel lobbies and silent beach bars are replacing the usual buzz. Operators watching flight cancellations and lower arrival stats from Canada, South America, and Europe say the downturn is deeper than a slow week. This decline isn't organic. It links back to visa friction and new costs. Miami is grappling with less foot traffic, shrinking staff, and rising frustration. The city built on glamour now faces an economic hangover, with no quick fix in sight. Picking up from Miami's collapse, the pain doesn't stop there. It's spilling straight into Los Angeles. America's bright star of entertainment tourism? Now it's dimming fast. Hollywood tours are drying up. Bookings are down 37% as foreign travelers cancel studio visits left and right. And it's not just tourism. Film production across Greater LA tanked in early 2025. Movies, TV shows, even commercials, down across the board. Fewer cameras rolling means fewer sets, fewer crews, fewer global students flying in for internships. And the ripple? It hits everything: hotels, cafes, souvenir stands, even Uber drivers. Cultural festivals and film schools are seeing international attendance drop by over 40%. Without those visitors, LA's image as the beating heart of Hollywood, it's starting to fade. When foreign groups pull out, the streets go quiet. The buzz is gone. And local logistics teams are scrambling just to hold things together. LA used to thrive on global prestige. That fame brought in billions. But now, cancellations are piling up. The lights are dimming. And as the brand fades, so do the jobs. And finally, we head to San Francisco, a city known for tech, innovation, and its deep ties to Asia. But in 2025, those ties are fraying fast. Back in May, US government data showed F1 and J1 visas dropped by nearly 20%, especially from Asia. That meant fewer international students landing in Bay Area campuses this year. And it's showing. Tech and design programs at schools like UC Berkeley and Academy of Art are reporting a 22% drop in enrollment. That's not just a number. That's future talent, gone. But the fallout isn't just inside classrooms. Walk through Chinatown and it's painfully quiet. One of its oldest restaurants, Sam Wo, shut down in January 2025 after more than 100 years in business. Locals say around 30% of shops and eateries there have closed since winter. So now, fewer students, fewer tourists, fewer lights on. San Francisco didn't just lose travelers, it's losing its global heartbeat. From Miami's beaches to New York's skyline, America's icons are going silent. Not because of war, not because of a virus, but because of a $250 visa fee. One small policy, and now cities are losing tourists, jobs, and their place on the global stage. So here's the real question. Is this just a temporary dip? Or the moment the world starts turning away from the American dream? Have you been to Tucson, Orlando, or San Francisco? Would you go again, with that price tag? Tell us what you think in the comments. Because the future of US tourism might just begin with your voice.